Look at us
Right.
doing stuff.
What's up, everyone? It's Wind Down Wednesday. How are you all doing? Lee, Aisha?
I'm good.
It's great, man.
Really
Great
good.
day.
Very good.
I had a stressful day so far, so I'm still trying to get organized. Have you ever had one of those days where you are just behind with everything?
Yes, I have. I
From
have.
time to time, yeah.
I have.
I'm having one of those days, but I'm happy that I'm here with my NABJ family. This is our third Wind Down Wednesday.
Indeed.
Okay, yeah, we're doing these once a month. It's just a way just to catch up with NABJ family, just to talk about what's going on and talk about the world. I want to do some housekeeping and talk about our scholarships. That deadline is approaching. We're less than a month away. April 30th, college students. We have more than $10,000 in scholarship money to hand out this year. This is the most we've ever given out, and we hope to award this money to several students. So go on our website to our scholarship section, click on that tab, and you will find all the information. You have to have at least a 3.0 GPA. You have to have some recommendations. You also have to write an essay. There are several prompts, and I and a couple other people will be in charge of deciding who or how many will get the scholarship money this year. So we're looking forward to people applying. We have a couple people who have applied so far. I just know when I was a college student, I would always wait until the last minute to do things, but I just want to make sure you're aware that the deadline is coming. And if you're having to ask other people to write recommendations, which is necessary for the scholarship, get on that, because you want to give people enough time to talk about you, brag about you for those recommendations. Also, we want to talk about the election is coming up. Are you all planning to vote?
Yes. Well, I hope you guys are, because you have about roughly 2 weeks. So April 16th is the deadline to register to vote. We are doing things differently this year because of Rona. So everything is happening electronically. So please, your vote matters, your vote counts. Be sure to go to nabjchicago.org/election and make sure you register to vote by April 16th. I believe that is a Friday. And election period, you guys correct me if I'm wrong, is May 1st through May 20th, correct?
I don't know off the top of my head.
But just look, the most important thing right now is just to make sure that you register to vote by April 16th. So be sure to do that.
And we're going to be putting out in the coming days or coming weeks, people who are running for office. So just keep that in mind. And as always, if you're not running for office, you can still get involved with NABJ Chicago. There are a lot of different committees, a lot of different ways for you to serve. So that's important. In order for NABJ Chicago to be our organization, we need as many people around when we're making these decisions, supporting some of our programming.
Without question, yeah.
And Lee, go ahead.
Oh, you're gonna go ahead.
No, I'm sure you have some housekeeping things to take care of too.
Definitely. So we also have, just want everyone to be aware of the Sandra Dawson Long Weaver, fantastically long name, but it's an amazing grant that's available for all NABJ members, both locally and nationally. There's more information about it on the nabjonline.org, brand new website for NABJ, so please check that out. And this is a way to be more involved and have more grant opportunities for all journalists. I know we recently at NABJ Chicago had a grant opportunity for people who are looking for funds because they were impacted by COVID-19. So we're trying to give back in multiple ways with NABJ, both locally and nationally.
And that's extremely important. And something that we also stress with NABJ is making sure we have programming that applies to everyone, and programming that people are interested in. Recently, we had get your headshot done. That's important for people who want to put their best foot forward. I signed up for that, but unfortunately, I was not able to make it. Lee and Aisha, what are some of the other events coming up?
I will be doing a freelance training next month on Thursday, April 15th. I will, for those of you who are interested in freelance writing, whether for broadcast, but it will be primarily print. I will be providing a training on how you can get, what to do in terms of like your cover letters, how to look for, paying freelance gigs, and how to get your money. Because, as I mentioned during our Wind Down Wednesday, you want to be where the money resides, and you want that money to come to you. So I will be covering that in my training. So I'm looking forward to sharing the just the things I've learned over the years, and looking forward to sharing that with you. So bring your questions and everything. So there'll be more to come on that.
And that's important in this time where the money resides. Where's that guy now? The one who started it all.
The last time I saw him, maybe a couple of weeks ago, he was on stage with what's my baby in New Orleans name? Oh gosh. Big Frida. They were on stage together, and I saw him, he was breaking it down on the stage. That's where I last saw him a couple of weeks ago. So I think he's expanding his 15 minutes, and he's adorable. So I welcome it. I think he's so cute. So
it's just amazing, not to go on a tangent, just how someone can just create something and it could spread across the country so quickly.
Yeah.
One day he was just, making a silly video, and it caught on.
Right. Well, that's how innovation kind of begins. You have to be fearless and trust yourself and allow that creativity to flow through, which he did in his commercial. I think, if I'm not, now don't quote me, but I believe he maybe left his job. I think he was a used car salesman or a car salesman.
You left the job?
I think he
already.
Google it. Look, I think, because there's a lot of information out here, but I think I remember reading that. I'm not sure, but I think he may have. But again, I think he's just so adorable.
Hey, so now we have a guest, and I always look forward to having guests because it adds to the fun. One of my favorite people is Kathy Chaney. She used to be the president of NABJ Chicago. She's now still involved, but she's helping out with NABJ National. Thank you for joining us. What's up, Kathy?
Hey, everybody. I love to see my NABJ family, especially local. So you all have a wonderful, wonderful platform, and I love to see all these fresh young faces in the forefront representing the organization and the chapter. So kudos to you guys, really.
We
Awesome.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
And thank you for the work that you've been doing with the national chapter. While we have you, what are some of the events or programming that people should be aware about?
So first I would start with, earlier this week, we did announce that, as you mentioned, the local chapter is gearing up for elections. So is the national organization. So we have several positions that are up nationally, and the nomination period opened this week. It closes, I believe, mid-May. I don't remember the exact date, but president, VP broadcast, VP digital, secretary, student rep, Region 1 and Region 3 director. Those positions are up nationally. So get ready for that. The second thing that's coming up, or actually, I guess it's on a rolling deadline, and it's a committee that I'm on. So the NABJ received a grant from the Chan Zuckerberg Institute to give money to the Black press. So we've teamed up, and I believe Lee mentioned it earlier. One of the NABJ founders, Sandra Long Weaver, is coordinating the grant process, and I'm on the committee for selecting. And the grants are up to $10,000, and it's for Black media, Black-owned media, or Black journalists, freelancers, to present projects and do things that are about COVID-19 and how it's affected the Black community and the education system, kindergarten through 12th grade. So we are looking through applications. It's a rolling deadline. So all Black owned media, Black journalists, if that's something that you want to tackle as a project, please apply. Go to nabj.org. I will try to find the link to so you all can share it. But we really want to see more, applicants come in because we have the money up to $10,000 to grant. And I will tell you, we just had a meeting yesterday to look over some applications to start granting some money. So we're looking over those. The grant process or the grant period is between March to December of this year. And we just want to make sure that, our community is covered, especially the Black press, because the Black press, they need all the resources they can get depending on what it is. And it's not just traditional newspapers. So Black owned radio stations, Black owned TV stations, digital newsrooms. So I encourage them all to apply so we can, get these stories out. It's a great opportunity for our Black freelancers because, it gives them some stability if they're in between assignments or in between projects to, have some money. Let's say you got 3 months worth of not having to worry about, okay, when is my next check coming in or something like that. So I totally encourage all of that. So please, please, please look up the information and apply.
What's the application process like? Do they have to submit a proposal of stories that they would like to tackle?
Yes. So it's you fill out the application, it's detailed. You need to explain the specific project that you want to tackle. You need to tell us how you're doing it. Is it going to be a video project? Is it multimedia? Is it print? Things like that. Is it a documentary? Is it something that's going in the newspaper or, is it a radio spot or things like that? But you need to be detailed with that. We will ask for a budget. So please be mindful and careful when you put in your budget because we do look at things because, they're pretty much like local projects. If you're putting in, okay, if you're going for up to $10,000 the full amount and 5,000 of your budget is travel, okay, where you going? Where you going? And
Lyft and Uber is expensive right now.
Yeah, but
But
this is if this is a local project, what a plane ride come in at. So it's like we do pay attention to things like that. So don't pad your stuff, thinking that we're going to be like, oh yeah, that kind of sounds right. No, it doesn't sound right. So we are thinking in those terms too. We want to fund projects that, are really genuine and not something that's really loosely based and you really don't have a clear picture of what you want to do and what you want to accomplish.
It's so important to tell those stories and to uplift our Black freelance journalists who are struggling. Their stories with the pandemic, and this is what's so unusual about the times that we're living in, is that we're actually impacted by what's happening, what's going on. And usually sometimes it's you go to do a story that's impacting a certain neighborhood or certain area, but these stories are really impacting us all.
Yeah, I mean, you got to look at the education system with the disparity with Wi-Fi and things like that. Black community just doesn't mean it's like a metropolitan, place. It could be rural, you just never know. So you have to think about, things like that. Impact food security, how COVID has impacted food security in the Black community. So it's like, you really got to put your thinking cap on and really try to tackle it, the best way possible, but just make sure that you're covering it in a way that maybe mainstream hasn't thought of, and then through our lens, it's going to be extremely important. So I think that us providing this opportunity, especially for freelance journalists, is a wonderful opportunity, and the Black press too. I really think so. So I do have to give big kudos to the Chan Zuckerberg Institute for, providing the funds for us doing this.
As someone who has, again, worked as a staffer for mainstream publications, but my freelance career has primarily been as a member of a member of the Black press. I love this idea. When we went through the 2008 economic crisis, I was freelance at that time, full time. I stopped working as a staffer and decided to freelance, and things were okay until like 2009, 2010 rolled around, and I was getting like stories I may have gotten one price for, quoted quote for, I was getting like a third or a fifth of that. So again, it can be really tough, and so I appreciate NABJ being receptive to this, and that foundation for thinking enough of those of us who work, who are members of the Black press.
Can you tell us a little bit about how you apply as well?
I'll provide the links, but there is a link that takes you straight to the Google form that you fill out that goes straight to Founder Weaver. And it's really, really detailed. So that is how we, process the applications, but it comes through that link that takes you straight to a Google form.
Okay.
Yeah. And Sandra Long Weaver, she is in Nashville right now. So she's at I believe it's the Tennessee Tribune, so the Black press. The other person that's on the committee is Tanae Kroom. She's out of Pittsburgh, but she's a longtime Black press member. And I've been in business for a little more than 20 years now. And about half of that time I've been at the Black press. So it's the Chicago Defender newspaper, WVON radio, Ebony magazine. So in each newsroom that I go into, I always keep the mindset as if I'm working, in a Black newsroom, because I want to make sure that our stories are covered.
Well, we appreciate your time. Thank you for hopping in. Very important information, and people who are certainly interested and have something to offer should definitely apply. Thank you for joining us.
Please apply. Yes, thank you so much. And I'm going to sit back and listen to you guys. Thank you.
Keep her winding down with us.
Right.
Well, I've got some, not wine, but, Yeah.
Is that Uncle Nearest?
I do have a bottle of that unopened. But
Unopened? Oh no, that won't do.
That's the bottle for show. I have the other bottle. I want to show you how much is left in it. I got an image to maintain, people.
So you have one bottle of like tea and one bottle for actual like your consumption?
Lee, do not get all up in my business like that.
I'm sorry. You never know.
That's for after the show. That's for after the show.
Thank you, Will.
I'll let you off the hook. All right, appreciate it. Thank you for joining us. Take care. Have a good rest of your evening.
Thank you guys. You too.
Thank you.
I know.
Okay.
And I just want to clarify, this is not vodka. This is water.
Okay, I didn't even have any time to grab anything. I was taking a nap, and then I realized that this was coming up. So I want to talk about, if you all have any programming ideas, what would you want NABJ Chicago to do? What is needed? We want to be a better organization. So if you ever have any ideas for programming, email Lee. What's your email, Lee?
Lee@nabjchicago.org. I believe you can also email events@nabjchicago.org. And we have a fantastic events chair, Ms. Brenda Butler, and we're trying to coordinate for fantastic events coming up throughout the year. Will, you had a great event, I believe, about surrounding mental health that took place. So we're definitely trying to make sure we're being diverse in all of our offerings to members and non-members alike.
Exactly. And I just want to pivot to talk about some of the current events going on, just to get some hot topics. Is that what Wendy Williams calls it? Or is that the View?
I think they both do. I think Wendy and the View they refer to as hot topics.
So have you all been watching the Derek Chauvin trial, and what are your thoughts and how are you coping with it? As some people were telling me that it's triggering for them to see that video over again, and just some of those details that we learned before, and then finding out some of these some of the new evidence that they uncovered.
As I've shared previously, not on this platform, but I've taken kind of a spiritual retreat for the past week, and it just so happens to coincide with this trial. So for protection from me and the commitment I made to myself, I'm not watching it. However, my SO, he's been filling me in, and my friends have been telling me what's been going on. I'm just seeing a few things on Twitter, and part of me wishes that this came another time so I could watch it. But another part of me is kind of glad that I'm not triggered by what's happening.
Mhm.
I did not watch the video. The reporting I did not rely on me watching it. But I chose not to do it because on May 25th, we were still here in Chicago on stay-at-home order. And there wasn't much going on. And I just didn't want to watch that happening and be stuck in the house with those thoughts. So that's why I haven't personally watched it yet. Even though I can watch, I'm not freaked out by certain things, but there's, about death videos or, that type of thing. But watching someone who's actually the life leaving them the way that it left him, the way it was described, and some of the still photos I saw, that was a little traumatizing for me. So that's one of the reasons why I have not watched the video yet.
I've seen the video. I've been watching a little bit of the trial, not as it's happening, but just watching news reports and just to know what's going on. And it's hard because this case is just more than just what happened there in Minneapolis. It represents for so many people systemic racism, problems with policing of Black folks. So a lot of different emotions and thoughts are intertwined with this trial. And I'm sure a lot of people are watching it closely, or if not watching it closely, thinking about what this means and where we are as a country.
Right.
I made an effort to actually stay away from the trial and its coverage. I was like, you know what? I'm hoping for the best results in terms for the family of, man, it's just hard to talk about, really. So I was trying to separate myself from it. I'm wishing the best for the family of George Floyd, obviously. And I'm watching Queen Sugar because I'm like, oh, well, I love Queen Sugar. It's a new season. And just catching up on last week's episode, they had an episode where they talk about all things happening with this year, 2020. And they talked about what happened on May 25th and how the characters were really responding to it. So it just, as much as I wanted to get away from it, I couldn't. And then just to see on Twitter, Ava DuVernay, as she was creating this season, this most recent season of Queen Sugar, she rewrote the whole season to highlight everything that's happening with COVID-19 and, of course, with the murder of George Floyd. So it's just sort of like, even as we tend to get away from it, it's referenced in pop culture, it's referenced in sports with like the WNBA leading the way on sort of like that charge. It's part of American history now. And we're living through that history. So it's, as much as I want to sort of separate from it, this is where we are.
Yeah, for many people, they don't know what to say. They don't have the words. And I appreciate you both sharing your thoughts about that. But they're also, we're in a hard time with COVID, the racial reckoning, but there are also some positive things happening. The Coming to America movie, that was a beautiful display of Black excellence. Some of our favorite actors and actresses from years past revised roles in that movie, and some famous actors first time appearing in the movie. I know last time we had our Wind Down Wednesday, we hadn't seen the movie, right?
Not yet.
No.
Have you all seen it, and what was your reaction?
I saw it.
Uh-oh, what does that mean?
Lee, go on, sweetheart. Lee was about to say something. Go on, Lee.
I really enjoyed the movie. Coming to America 2 wasn't as funny as the original, obviously, even though I probably saw it at a too young age for the first time. But like now watching it more as an adult, I get the jokes, it's funny. Though I do notice that as I was seeing how people talked about it on social media, they highlighted that it was some problematic things in terms of like transphobia. They mentioned things like there was like kind of like a rape scene, which I could see how that could definitely be perceived that way. And so it's like, it wasn't as feel good for all people as it kind of could have been. And also I feel like the jokes, while funny, like it's kind of like updating these jokes and also being aware of how people will perceive them may not always been in the best light. So with that, it can't be the full 5 stars that people were hoping for, but I thought it was overall enjoyable. I know like your face, Will, is just like, whoa.
Yeah,
It took you back.
Yeah, I heard some of those complaints, and I hear people, and I respect people who have those thoughts. I really enjoyed the movie. The first movie, most people don't realize or don't accept that it was very silly too. The first movie was just like at times very, very random, and I think this movie captured that. I wasn't expecting this movie to be better than the original. I just wanted some time just to laugh and see some ridiculousness, and I think this movie provided that. So I wasn't looking for an Oscar-worthy movie or BET and NAACP Image Award worthy movie, but I enjoyed it. I watched it 4 times, and I actually dressed up as Prince Akeem for the premiere.
Yeah, a lot of people, I saw that was a common thing. A lot of people dressed up. I think, I like to chill and lay back. I'm not, I can be silly, obviously, but I think when I watched it, certain things just kind of jumped out to me. So this rape scene, the portrayal of, woman as statuesque as Leslie having to, drug him, rape him, whatever, in order for him to be attracted to her, or for her to even conceive with him. That bothered me a little bit. Some of the jokes and references in the barbershop about children in Africa, African women's body, their breasts, I noticed that. And I was really laid back. There was not water in my wine glass when I watched this, so I was really chill, but all of that I noticed it. And I think also, I just thought the script, overall, my thing is, I felt like it could have been tighter and better written. I think the jokes, some things were okay, but they just did not, it didn't hit me the way I would have liked it to have, hit me. I'm a big fan of Trading Places. I'm a big fan of Coming to America and some other Eddie Murphy films, but this one kind of left a lot to be desired for me. However, what I did love seeing was the Black excellence. I love seeing a lot of our legends, especially our elders who, we don't know how much longer they may be on this plane with us. So
James Earl Jones died during the movie.
Right. He did. We had a funeral, right? I think last night, James. I didn't know that Morgan Freeman would be there. I was hoping the original 4 in Vogue would be there. Plus, I forget the new sister's name. She's a great singer. I would love to.
Gladys Knight.
Yeah, Gladys Knight was there. Just a lot of people showed up. So that part I loved. I like that they resurrected a lot of the characters from the first movie. I would have loved to see her sister come back, and even the guy Daryl who she dumped. I would have loved to see them too. But overall, I get why a lot of people liked it and why they enjoyed it, and I will watch it again, just to see. But that was my first impression of the movie.
I really love the costumes. I'm not sure, little trivia. Did you know that the award-winning costume designer Ruth E. Carter, who did the outfits for Black Panther, she did the outfits for Coming to America as well?
Yes, I had the pleasure of interviewing her about being Oscar-winning. I know. I interviewed her back in 2013 for a series I did for the Root.
I'm glad this show is not for on Easter, because you would have been talking about you interviewed Jesus back in the day.
Yeah, Jesus.
Every person we named, she interviewed. She had interviewed at one point, or had coffee at their house, or potato salad or something, yams.
Look at you, Will. Now, my point is, I talked to her about, because I grew up seeing her name. So, seeing Ruth's name, watching a lot, especially Spike Lee movies, but we talked about her getting her start and being, at the time, she was 2-time Oscar nominated, but she won for Black Panther. But yes, I was aware that Ruth, she did those costumes and she laid it out. I think a lot of people, the costumes stood out. No matter how you felt about the movie, one thing that definitely stood out, I would say, are the costumes. Ruth put her foot in that. She did her thing. And of course, seeing our legends, our Black excellence, representation.
Mm-hmm. I know you all mentioned about the barbershop scene that was problematic, but I think that really captures when I went to barbershops. They weren't always politically incorrect, and especially the elders in the barbershop, they would say things that just would make you just like, I don't know if you can say that anymore. And those characters, that's central to their personality, saying questionable things.
That's true. You're right. And that reminds me when Barbershop, the Barbershop movie came out with Ice Cube. And I know people felt sensitive about the first and second one when certain things were said. Think about Martin Luther King and maybe a joke maybe about Luther or whatever too. People were very sensitive about that. But to your point, Will, you are right. You know, a lot of times when we are amongst one another, people are just telling it like it is. And some people, are not always politically correct. And so that is very true. That is very true.
And I'm usually hard on sequels. I'm still mad about, next Friday, Friday after next, 2 weeks from Friday. I should have given that up a long time ago. The only person was Baby D in the second one. I liked her character.
She was in the Next Friday.
In Next Friday. So was that the one after the original?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I enjoy Baby D, but the rest of the movie I did not like. So I'm usually hard on sequels. But when I first watched Coming to America, I was kind of anxious and nervous. So I wasn't able to enjoy it the first time. And then like once I watched it again and again, I liked it. I really like Leslie Jones, and I'm really not a Leslie Jones fan. I just liked how she played that role. But some people say that's how she plays every role.
She does play that role every way. Like when she was on Saturday Night Live, she was always that way. But I think that authenticity is really key, especially when she's commenting about things on Twitter. Right. And when she did the tweet by tweet review of the Snyder Cut of Justice League, it was hilarious, and it just gives you a different viewpoint that's kind of fun to riff off of a little bit.
Right.
Well, all right. That's it. We're winding down already. Y'all feel good? Y'all feel good?
I feel good. Look, you got me. I'm gonna go watch to America too.
And please text me afterwards to see if your thoughts changed. I don't know why I'm taking this so personally. I want to argue with people on Twitter when they criticize the movie.
I can tell by your aura. I said, "Oh, Will, he not okay." And again, I do not want to give the impression that I'm some holier than thou. Everything's PC. I am not. Mm-hmm. I mean, I try to be aware, but I'm just being very honest in what my initial response was to that movie. That was just my honest approval. But I do like to laugh. I watch a lot of different things. But that was just my honest, that was just my honest first. What jumped out at me? Y'all want me to be authentic, don't y'all? Don't you?
Let me go. My wife is making all this noise, getting her takeout out of the plastic bag. She couldn't hold off until this got over. I only had 30 more seconds. And so everyone have a good night. It was nice catching up with y'all. We'll see y'all next month on Wind Down Wednesday. Take care, everyone.
Register to vote, y'all.
That's important. Stacey Abrams is going to be on you.
Right. Bye. Good night.
Bye.
Oops.